Right, hopefully we're live now. And the mic's working. Oh, come on, don't fuck around with the screenshots now. Come on, window capture, you fucker. Fuck's sake. There we go, for fuck's sake. Don't know what's going on there. Hopefully, yeah, it looks like the mic's working and all. I'll have to check the stream. Yeah, it's working, I think, and that. Yeah, yeah. There we go. Right. Well, fucking now's a fuck around. Honestly. Wasted fucking 20 minutes then. Just talking and the mic won't working. And it's a good job I noticed the mic won't working. Or else I'd have been fucking talking. I was just about to get into the spoilers. And so I'd noticed, oh, the mic ain't working. And so then I was checked and like, oh, what the fuck. But anyway, hopefully, touch wood now, there shouldn't be no fucking problems. Don't know what the fuck was going on there. Ugh. Streamlabs. It's like, fucking hell. But, back to Die Another Day. Great film though. I'll have to talk about the poster again. Where I was saying I'd altered the car a bit, the bottom left, where fucking it had like some shit over it, so I had to like move it. And did a bit of a rush job on it. But the rest of the posters, I was saying, fucking great. Got you like hovercraft, Jinx, and oh, Madeline, I think it is. Well, Mrs. Frost anyway. And then yeah, got like the Ice Palace sort of thing, which fucking I'm gonna call it Ice Palace. Got Ice Palace thing there, and your Boeing 47 where it was, and that. Then oh, what's his fucking name? Not Raoul. Zowl. That was it. Zowl. Diamond Face. The hood. And yeah, they're above Halle Berry's head is the sword, and that. And then Bond, right? And then Graver, oh Grave, and yeah, right. The other craft and that, yeah. Oh, pretty good fucking poster that. I don't know if it's an official one or someone's done it themselves, but I thought, oh yeah, that looks good. That I'll use that. I'll have that as my fucking thumbnail sort of thing. Oh, yeah. Well, let's get to the cast because I've got to do the fucking cast again. I did the cast and everything, but Pierce Brosnan, James Bond, Ali Berry as Jinx, Robinson Pike as Miranda. That's it, Miranda. And then Toby Stevens as Goodford Greaves, and Michael G. Wilson as General Charles or whatever it was. It wasn't in it much. And that. Judi Dench as Samantha Bond as Miss Moneypenny. Rick and Yoon as Zool or Zol. And John Cleese as Q because I was saying it was R, but because Llewellyn in this Bond film, because he apparently retired in his character would have retired between The World's Not Enough and Die Another Day. So now John Cleese R is now Q because he's took over Q, like replaced him, because in The World's Not Enough you see R and that, and Q explains, oh yeah, I'm like training him up to replace me, so he replaces him in this one. Then William Youngley as Colonel Moon, Weave Tang as General Moon, who's his dad, Deborah Moore as the air hostess, Colin Simons as Charles Robbins, Michael Madison as Desmond Falco, Oliver Steve as the what he's only in it for a bit, Ilmo Edevovich as Raoul, Lawrence Mako as Mr. Kill, Rachel Grunt as Peaceful. I don't know who that was from that. And Christina Curtis as the nurse, Michael Godfrey as Melody Pop. So I mean, Charlton as the Buckingham, Stella as the Korean sort of guard, Paul Darrows as the Doctor, Simon Owen as Dr. Alzovitz, Jacqueline Matthias as an old man in the cigar place, Stuart Moore as one of the Buckinghams, Ian Pry as the creep who plays a funny part in it, and that, Stuart Ong as General Dong, who's not in it for much, does a bit, well, he's in it but not like loads, and he has no really speaking lines, but Mark Diamond as Van Beek, yeah, who's in it for a bit, but not that much, only in the beginning. He's not even really in that much, in fact. Lucas as a medic, Then he come out as a general hand. James Wallace as one of the Buckinghams. Malco Carrier as the club waiter. Wong Ho Hee as the hotel manager. So Tina Simmons and Derek Lay. Oh, I think them two was in. I know. Looks like that Derek Lear was in tomorrow. You know, I mean, the world's not enough. But yeah. 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 So, get a bit of the review going. Because, like, yeah, it's one of them crazy fucking films of a Bond where some crazy shit goes on and that. Bit crazy as in the plot line and all. So, like, not real too complicated neither. It's basically just a fucking crazy cunt that wants to, like, fucking have his own big, massive laser beam um, machine in the sky that fucking can just like fucking laser beam everything. So yeah, pretty good. Some crazy shit, but yeah, it's a Bond film and that like yeah, there's some bits where it's like yeah, I reckon it might be possible, but yeah, don't know. I don't know. Sometimes, especially with the invisible car, it's like I can believe they can do an invisible car, but can they do an invisible car that can take damage? That's and in this one, it gets a lot of damage done. So well, not a lot because it's supposed to be bulletproof and all that shit, but it takes it deflects a lot of damage, should I say? Oh yeah, I'm thinking. Well, they have done it sort of like futuristic sort of like technology, where some Bond films it's more realistic, where this is more futuristic of a Bond film. Still a great film though, great film, great action in it. Bit of a bad fight scene where not too bad, not too bad. Halle Berry could do a bit of action. Yeah. And that she got like a bit of reputation of being in action films. Not good action films, like, but being in them. Well, John Wick 3 was good though, but Catwoman was shit. So, but yeah, great film, great film. Some great acting and all, considering like all the shit. Well, great acting and great sort of like stunt acting and all sort of like thing. Bit of CGI and that in this one, where I think they realised, oh yeah, Bond films, you can't do too much CGI in it. Obviously, you have to CGI the space stuff with like satellites and that, because like that ain't really much of a difference. Because they used to use little miniatures models and that, so doing the fucking CGI on that you can get away with, but when it comes to CGI in action scenes and that is some you can't do too much. Where in this, obviously, they like did it good enough where you're like, oh yeah, a little bit of CGI there, but not loads. Well, not loads that you can tell is CGI, as in like, oh yeah, it looks a bit sort of fucking corny and that, but it's CGI. It's like yeah, Unless you was gonna get a dude to do it and that, and then you'd have to fucking do like loads of takes and all. It's like CGI it quicker, easier. Well, we'll get on to the spoilers. Oh fucking hell, wrong one. Header. Spoilers. So in case anyone's watching, it's like spoiler time. Get right into them. Hopefully it'll be a quick one this. I started it fucking. I was trying to start it fucking early, but the fucking mic fucking fucked up and that. So it's added another fucking hour on. So, but luckily enough though, I didn't fucking do the full like 2 or 3 hours. Hopefully he's gonna leave it. Anyway, let's go on with the spoilers. What's in the spoilers? Oh, yeah. Fuck it. That'll have to do. Right. Here we go then. Spoilers. Yeah, seeing the cast. Right. So it starts off with like Bond, and I don't usually stop sort of like doing the Bond sort of because they're basically nearly all the same, apart from if it's a new Bond, because it's like, oh yeah, well this is his. But then after that, it's usually the same. But on this one though, his last Bond one turns to the camera and fires a bullet into the fucking gun barrel, and then kills the dude. Real good shot that. Then you see it's Pokchong Coast in North Korea. Oh, Pokchong Coast in North Korea, where you see like a surfer dude all dressed in black surfing the waves. Then he's joined by his mate. Oh, then another mate comes along. There's this bit in this where one of the surfers, obviously it's not fucking Pierce Brosnan and that, these stunt guys, surfer dudes. One of the dudes gets real close to the other dude where they have to have a look to see if they're alright. But anyway, real close sort of surfing action and that. Well, they get on the beach and that, and you see it's Bond with two other dudes, where they leg it up the beach and that. and they get off the beach to where there's a satellite sort of system, so, well, a radaring system, should I say, where Bond takes this surfboard sort of bottom and like slides it across where he's got some C4, and I don't know exactly what that green thing is, but he's got his gun, a sniper, and that, and a knife, which he takes the knife out. Hold on, his mate then goes to the box that's powering the transmitter sort of radar and GPS tracking sort of system coordinates, cuts it and that, so the dish sort of stops transmitting, where Bond gets his knife out, sticks it into the ground, where the handle pops a little antenna that tracks the signal, starts broadcasting to the GPS of this helicopter to like change its route and that, giving it a correction. Well, the pilot takes the advice sort of thing, so he changes his route, goes to where he's been told to change to. Well, when the pilot gets there and lands, this dude comes out saying what the fuck's happening and that, why you changed the coordinates and that. He's a bit suspicious, which he should be, because Bond sticks a gun. Because by this time they've changed into normal clothes. Well, Bond's got exact clothes replica of the dude, where they'd like had spars telling what he's wearing and that. Well, he's called Mr. Van Gaal, who fucking is carrying some diamonds. Oh, fucking. So, Bond takes the briefcase, takes the shades off him. Don't know exactly what happens to him. Probably gets like knocked out and just left there. I don't know. But oh, they could have killed him, but they don't show you anyway. But anyway, Bond, he takes out the tray of diamonds and that, whilst, because they stole the helicopter now, put some C4 in the like case, takes out his watch sort of pin, bangs that into the C4, sort of like why is a connection to the detonator pin and his watch. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off, you piece of shit. Fucking do more than this. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, fuck. Honestly. There we go. Yeah, hello. Hello, fool says, Hello, soy nerds. Fair handshake. Oh, them soy nerd bitches won't be here. But if there is any soy bitches who want to man the fuck up, they're sick and tired of looking at themselves being a soy nerd bitch watching fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, then yeah. But, sorry I'm late. Was watching Ms. Marvel. Well, I stand corrected. Maybe there is some soy nerds in the fucking watching. But Ala Fool says, dying of a day. Fucking hot stuff, yeah. Especially with that Icarus machine. Right, now I've got to fucking do reset this bastard now. That's it. Should fucking log this anyway. Oh. Yeah, hello fool is laughing at that one. Yeah. Yeah, so he puts the detonator in the C4 and gets a sort of like connection going with his watch and that, so they've linked up. He's linked his detonator to his watch and that. And puts the diamond tray back over the C4, shuts the case. Well, then it's the Colonel Tan Sun Moon's headquarters, a demilitarized zone in North Korea. So it's supposed to have no weapons or out, but it has. Because it's not demilitarized, but it claims it is demilitarized. Well, there's a big sort of like concrete wall thing that slides down, which is pretty good protection and that. Well, you see, Colonel Moon kicking the shit out of this punch bag and giving it a few punches and that, doing training, where then he says, open it up to one of his mates, who, will you see this dude fall out, who Colonel Moon says, don't fucking lecture me again, where you find out that that's his anger management fucking advisor in that. And so from the start it shows that Colonel Moon has got a bit of an anger problem. Well, then Colonel Moon, he tells them to open up the fucking windows because they fucking got heavy protection sort of blind things, where he sees the helicopter arriving and he thinks it's Mr. Van Gel, so he's like, oh, right, I'll have to go out fucking see Van Gel. Well, yeah, Bond gets off the fucking helicopter and that, and Zaul, he takes a fucking sort of picture of Bond where he starts to transmit it to like some place of like head security, sort of like their info headquarters of like intelligence sort of thing. Check to see who he is. Well, then he goes up to Zul, where Zul says, "Oh, you're late." Well, he's like, "Oh yeah," sort of thing. And then Colonel Moon comes over, where Bond, pretending to be Van Gel, offers thanks from an African military to the Colonel Moon and that. Says trading conflict diamonds on an embargoed sort of like um, territory sort of thing is like fucking real good for them, like helping them out. So um, Bond, I think he asks him, like, says, "Oh, you like fucking English is good sort of thing or whatever," and like, "Oh yeah, you can like, oh no, that's it." Fuck. Yeah, Bond then says, "Oh yeah, and judging by your fucking taste, sort of thing, it looks like you got like a bit of sort of money to spend and that." Well, like um, General Colonel Moon, he's like, "Oh yeah, well, I studied at Oxford and Harvard and that, and I majored in Western hypocrisy," which he's having a laugh. He's just sort of like fucking saying that, "Oh yeah, the West is a bunch of hypocrites," and that, like fucking, oh, got fine stuff and that. So but anyway, then he's like, "Right, okay then, show me the diamonds and that." Where Bond's like, "Show me the weapons," because this must be a mission where he's been put on to like fucking get the weapons off Moon and fuck off with them, sort of thing. Well, anyway, Colonel Moon is like, "All right then, bring in the weapons." Where then Zaul, he fucking radios in to bring in the weapons. Where you see these hovercrafts coming with like fucking turret machine guns on, fucking, and flamethrowers, and some other stuff. Well, anyway, Bond gives the diamonds and that to Zaul, and um, Colonel Moon says, "Oh yeah, these hovercrafts can float over landmines and that." So fucking you're getting your money's worth and that, and it's all about all the flamethrowers and that. So Bond gives him the diamonds and that, where he takes the diamonds over to this dude to check them out, because he's like, make sure the fucking real diamonds and that. Well, Bond says, "Oh yeah, don't blow it all at once." Doing a bit of a piss take because he knows the C4 in there. It was his plan, I think, was him and his mates to get these weapons, fuck off, and then when they fuck off, to blow up the diamonds. But anyway, Zhao, he gets a report back on his phone saying, "Oh yeah, fucking that dude who you photoed, it's James Bond. He's a British secret assassin and that." he's a double O agent. Well, then Zhao says to Moon, "Oh yeah, can I have a word with you?" So Moon goes over and he like tells him, "Oh yeah, that dude, it's fucking James Bond, who's a British secret agent, who's an assassin and that double O agent, licensed to kill." But anyway, Moon hears this but plays it calm and that. Goes over to like Bond, says, "Oh yeah, can I show you something?" And that, where Bond's like, "Yeah, okay then." So then Moon gets this rifle which he calls the Tank Buster, where I'm not exactly sure if this works or not, but in the Bond film it does. It's depleted uranium cells, where I think it's basically like an electric bolt gun laser, but not that concentrated that it can beam through metal or out, but it can blow it up. And it's not a constant beam, it's just blasts, so it's a bit like a blaster apparently in this. Well, he says, "Oh yeah, it's a fucking tank buster and all this." Then he starts to just blast the shit out of the helicopter, where Bond, he sort of like tries to fucking get his gun out and that, because his mates are on the helicopter, but he's grabbed and that. Fucking gets a gun pointed to his head, gets his gun took off him. Where you see then Moon, Colonel Moon, shooting the shit out of the plane. It takes about 3 or 4 shot blasts, but it finally fucking hits something and it just fucking pops. It fucking blows. Well, anyway, then he's like, "Now, how are you supposed to kill me now?" Sort of shit. Even though he still could kill him, but he ain't got his escape route as like fucking gone now, sort of thing. Well, he starts to like boast about how he's gonna take over the rest of Korea, because he's in North Korea and that. Starts to tell Bond that, yeah, I'll see the fucking North Korea rule. I mean, Korea ruled by North Korea and that. Well, then he gets a fucking radio fucking call from his dad, who's like seen the explosion and that, and he's saying, "What the fuck's happening? Like, I'm 5 minutes away. Fucking don't be blowing any more shit up." Well, you can see like the fucking cloud from the fucking, well, the smoke clouds, should I say, from the wreckage. Well, then he's all like, um, General Moon is all like, "Fuck it, get the weapons, kill Bond, sort of thing. So then he fucks off onto his fucking hovercraft, where then Bond gets sort of like led into where they get a firing squad to him, where he's just stood there, and then he like puts his hand on his watch and that, where he twists the sort of like deep divers sort of time, sort of oxygen tank thing that triggers off the bomb that's the dude's checking out the diamonds with, where it just fucking blows. He's dead, therefore. We can definitely class that as a death there. He's too close to survive, because these other dudes get blasted and that, where Bond just starts running. Then you see Zool with a few fucking cuts on his face from the diamonds that have just fucking scattered everywhere. Then Bond runs over onto one of the hovercrafts where everyone's shooting shit, where they shoot everything but Bond. Jumps onto a fucking another hovercraft where you see them like got up now and chasing, where there's a few that are down, where they're probably dead or injured. Bond punches the dude on the hovercraft, grabs the hovercraft, it's not a steering wheel, handlebars, that is their steering wheel. And so he turns it, presses some rocket fucking launcher buttons with his knee. Don't know if it's by accident or on purpose, but that's firing fucking rockets and that hit a Porsche, that make the Porsche fly back, smash into barrels and that, fucking explodes. Explosions everywhere in that. Colonel Moon looks back, because he's getting the fuck out of there with his equipment. Now he knows, like, oh yeah, this deal, it's over now. I've got the diamonds, and I'm keeping the fucking equipment, because James Bond is not the original dealer I was dealing with. Well, anyway, he turns back, sees like loads of fucking stuff getting blown up and that. Great fucking scene, this. Loads of explosions. One of the fucking Bond sort of traits on this, where you see him taking the fuck, blowing the fuck out of houses and, well, military bases, houses anyway, and fucking barrels, cars. Proper a good scene for the explosion kick on this one. Anyway, lots of mayhem going on, exploding everywhere. Bond shooting like fuck, and that, and fucking the dudes sort of like fucking who's driving is sort of unconscious because Bond knocked him out, and then fucking just blowing up shit, like staring and all sort of thing. Well, this fucking other hovercraft, he fucking sort of chases Bond, right, and there's other sort of fucking jeeps and that. Well, Bond, he's sort of like flying out of the concrete sort of barrier thing, and then he shoots at the control system that fucking shuts it down, but he gets through it, but the other craft following gets fucking smashed up and that, crushed, and explodes and that, but I just couldn't be asked to take the screenshot on that. Well, anyway, then he's chasing fucking Colonel Moon and his men, sort of thing. Well, he chucks the dude off that was driving. The other dude, he's knocked out completely in the back. Well, Bond gets into the fucking driver's seat, sort of thing. Starts to fucking track down Moon, where Moon starts to fucking fire his tank blaster, where he's hitting the sides and that, don't hit Bond. Well, anyway, tells his men and that, or alongside him, to like go back there and fucking stop Bond and that. So there's fucking reverse back, where Bond fucking barges one of them into the side of a disused tank, where it fucking flies like fuck, does a fucking somersault, lands at this fucking shelter base, like a bunker shelter, where there must have been some fucking cans or whatever, or the petrol, because it just fucking blows. Because them hovercrafts do run on petrol and that, so it could have been that. Well, then Bond's fucking catching up, shooting like fuck, sort of thing, where he takes one dude out and that, but Moon sort of like dodges it. Where then it comes up to a bit of a fucking fork in the road, where Bond takes the right and Moon goes to the left. Where then Moon, he's using his fucking machine gun cannon on the side, just blasting fuck, where he takes out the trees but misses Bond. And then he uses his flamethrower, where Bond ducks, swerves past it, sort of thing. Then Bond notices that there's another fucking hovercraft chasing him from behind. Where then he goes down a fucking landmine, sort of thing, and it's one of these they spring up like fuck, because I think some landmines, they just blow up on the ground, while these fucking fly up and blow up, so it takes out more people. But anyway, Bond goes in there. Yeah, Bond goes in and that, fucking sees like some landmines and that, shoots one, but like fucking the other tank like misses it, sort of thing. Well, then he like shoots another one, where he proper has to lean back, sort of thing, doing it on blind fucking like pure instinct and that, where he hits the man, where it flies up, explodes, fucking takes out the dude, sort of thing, and then the fucking hovercraft hits a tree and fucking it blows once again. Probably got explosives, and then flamethrowers maybe, or whatever. Well, I don't think the little ones have got flamethrowers. I think it's just the big ones that have got flamethrowers. But it's got petrol in and that. Could have like grenades and all. Well, then Bond comes out and he's in front of Colonel Moon now, where Colonel Moon, he fucking barges him in that, where he puts him on a side spin, where Bond gets up, shoots the shit out of the driver. I only screenshotted it with one shot, but he does about 4, but when he did 4 shots, then the windscreen's so fucking thingied that you can't see the fucking driver and that. So just, but anyway, shoots the shit out of the driver. Well, luckily enough, it's on cruise control because it keeps the hovercraft still keeps going where it tears up the fucking hovercraft that Bond was in, where the other dude that Bond knocked out, it's still there, where it fucking gets turned over, and the dude's knocked out, but he might survive this, but probably not because then it just fucking crushes it. Well, anyway, Bond shoots the shit at Moon, but he ducks in that. Where then Bond runs over and jumps down into the little sort of gully bit. Where Moon, he starts shooting back in that. Where Bond grabs a bulletproof vest, runs towards Moon in that. Where Moon's shooting the vest, didn't bother shooting at his legs, but it's a Bond movie. And Bond then fucking smashes the Moon with the fucking bulletproof vest, where he knocks the gun out of his hand and also fucking throws the bulletproof vest sort of way. And that's when the fucking hovercraft gets fucked up, where, yeah, that dude who was knocked out probably was dead. Well, then Moon fucking gets all martial arty because he boots Bond in the fucking chest, where Bond flies back and that, where Moon comes in, does a few kicks and that shit. Well, Bond does a few punches, where fucking he punches Moon right over to the bit where he was down, where Moon notices the fucking flamethrower, so he grabs it, tries to flamethrower fucking Bond, but Bond dives out the way and that, where he starts to follow Bond to see where he is, where Bond gets to the sort of driver's bit, where he kicks the throttle full, so the wind turbine of the fan that like propels the hovercraft sucks fucking Moon into it and that, where he can't move, where it smashes through the fucking temple sort of gate thing, and then it's a real small little temple because it's on the edge of a fucking waterfall, so the hovercraft goes over the waterfall and that, where Bond, he's fucking jumps up and catches the ropes to this bell that starts to ring because he's swinging across it and that on the sort of like bell ringer, and drops in the line "Saved by the Bell," where he looks over, sees fucking the hovercraft turned over, looking like there's no survivors. Well, Colonel, or not, General General Moon, who's his dad, because he's a general, and his son was only a colonel. Well, General Moon comes over and he's like, "Oh, my son's dead," sort of thing. Bond's like, well, tough tit. And he's like, oh yeah, well, fucking take him to the prison and that. Where you see Bond getting dragged into some fucking prison cell with the sort of like torture bed who's there, where they're dipping his fucking head into fucking cold water and that, and then you see the Die Another Day Madonna, die another day sort of thing comes on, and a lot of like electric titty beds. And you see like a bit of the torture in what they do to Bond and that. Well, then you see Bond with long hair and a beard, and if you didn't realise, there's some pointing out that it's been 14 months later, so just over a year. He's been getting tortured and that. Well, guards come, grab him, take him into General Moon's office and that, sit him down, oh, sit him down and that, where fucking General Moon's like, right, cheers, everybody, you can go. So they leave, where General Moon's like, oh yeah, I don't condemn the torture, what they do here, but he tells Bond that he's been abandoned and that, like, MI6 don't give a fuck about him and that, so why don't he just fucking tell everybody, or tell them like secrets. Yeah, Captain! Does it? Yeah. Yeah, Captain Spock, yeah. Yeah, fucking. It's only a two shagger, but one of them's Halle Berry, so yeah, that ain't too bad. He could have had three if he'd have fucking come on to the air steward, because they're always up for it. But he didn't. But yeah, so trying to get into Bond's heads, saying like nobody wants him. Why don't you tell us all the secrets and that, and we'll be your friends. Well, Bond's like, no, fuck off. I'm not doing that. Uh, yeah. Captain with a ding dong. Yeah. Halle Berry had ding dong hair all over. Even to today's standards. And this was like 2002, so it's like 20 years ago. But yeah. So. Well, then he says to Bond, right, okay then, fucking, let's go. If you're not going to tell us anything, well, then you see the North Korean flag sort of thing, where you see like they're at a little sort of base where they're at the southern. But anyway, I'm spoiling. But anyway, so they get there, get Bond out, where then General Moon is like talking about at the end of 50 years of like Western and sort of fucking Eastern sort of fucking shit, you end up being here and all this. And Bond then says about, oh well, you should have shot your son for selling fucking weapons for diamonds. You know, you're breaking the. He was breaking the like contraband tariff sort of thing. Well, then he says like his son got fucking brainwashed by some Western person who got him to betray his country by, selling weapons and that, and for contraband diamonds. Well, anyway, Bond's like, oh yeah, well, fucking, I, I don't know who it was and that, but fucking, you know, it don't matter. Like, fucking, your son did it. Well, anyway, then he tells him to, like, start walking fucking down the bridge where you got soldiers and that, where he starts to walk and that, and he comes up to fucking Zowl, who fucking, he says, oh yeah, your time will come, Zowl. And he's all like, yeah, well, I'm gonna fuck you up too, Bond. Well, gets to the fucking um, South Korean sort of fucking borderline, where fucking you see like M and Falco or like saying, oh yeah, here he comes, this Bond. Like, well, when Bond gets there, he sort of like waves fucking to Robinson, but then he's like grabbed, injected with some kind of fucking sleeper fucking injection where he fucking starts to pass out, where they grab him, put him on a bed and that. They like scan him and that, where fucking they find out that he's been, and you see this in the intro sort of thing, where he's been getting stung by scorpions and that, and then they've been giving him the antidote so he didn't die, and then they sting him with scorpions again. So, and then they say, oh yeah, he seems to be alright apart from his liver, and then they're like, oh yeah, well that must be Bond then. Well, anyway, oh yeah, they're like the scanning machine, checking his DNA and all. I think, but they don't say that. But basically, is sort of like what they're doing to make sure that is Bond. It's not an agent, that an undercover agent, yeah. And then they check his liver, and because his liver's in a bit of a state, like, oh yeah, it's Bond, all right. Well, then M comes to see him in a hospital, sort of thing, where Bond gets up and that, and he's like, all right. Then he goes to talk to M, where then he realises, oh, there's a big sheet of glass, and so he's imprisoned. Well, they must keep that glass clean. But anyway, starts talking to M and that, and M like says, "Oh yeah, welcome back, but you, if it was up to me, you still would have been in North Korea and that." Because Zhao, who they traded Bond for, tried to blow up a summit meeting in China with the Chinese and the South Koreans, and 3 Chinese guards got killed and that. And this is before fucking, well, China was run by the globalists, but it was before China was like really sort of getting fucking controlled by the globalists, so there was still a decent sort of. It still looked like there was civilization in China. But anyway, um, well, Bond, I said, "Oh, do you trust me?" And that sort of thing. Well, M comes in and that. He says, "Oh yeah, one of the top U.S. agents undercover in the North Korean High Command was executed, and the American intercepted a message from the prison that they had Bond in and that, and they believe that Bond is like giving information and that. So M's like, we had to get you out just because fucking we thought you cracked and broke, sort of thing. Well, Bond's like the only. Well, yeah, he said like you was the only inmate who would know that sort of stuff, and the thing you cracked. And Bond's like, well, do you think I cracked? And M's like, well, they could have drugged you up, so you don't even know if you'd cracked or not because you were so drugged up. Well, anyway, Bond's like, there was a partner, like, because what General Chow, um, General Moon, he said about his son having a friend in the West. Well, Bond said, oh yeah, there was a partner in the West who got so out in that because they would have like grass made out like Bond was like grassing up, sort of like giving information so they could trade. So Bond says, "Oh yeah, if they can find who the partner is, who was fucking making Bond look like he's the informant, then they'll find out fucking who sort of set up Bond, who grassed him up to the Zhao on his phone." Well, M says you're gonna go into a validation sort of fucking place in the Falklands because you're not fit for duty until fucking you get like checked out and that. Well, then Bond, he probably would have been like, oh no, just let me fucking go on the mission. I need to find out who's fucking grassing me up and that. Who's the informant that fucking they got. But M's like, no. Well, M leaves and that. Where then Bond, you see him like go into a sort of like meditation trance where he lays on the bed and that and starts to like lower his heart rate sort of thing, where he's having flashbacks of his sort of talk show, where I don't know why that would fucking lower your heart rate, but anyway, gets to a point where he's cardiac arresting and that. So the nurse is all like, oh fuck, get the fucking doctors or whatever. Starts to give him mouth to mouth. Well, they get the defibrillator fucking electronic fucking heart fucking starter machines, where they used to be able to fucking defibrillate fucking Bond's chest with 2,000 volts or whatever it is, where Bond grabs his hand, bangs him on each fucking of the sort of doctor nurses, a doctor and one male nurse chests, fucking where they fucking get like electrocuted and that, where it fucks them up, where they fall. Bond gets up, takes off the fucking heart monitor shit. Real good fucking scene that. Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, fucking hell yeah. Unlocks the door, goes out and locks the door and that shit sort of thing. Says to the nurse, oh yeah, I'm checking out. Thanks for the kiss of life. Oh no, he says, oh, as he defibrillates them two fucking dudes, then he's like, I'm checking out. And that's when he gets to this bit, he's like, oh yeah, thanks for the kiss of life. Well then, he sort of like goes out where he realises he's on a fucking ship, where some guards go past, looking for him probably, where then he gets to the side and just jumps over, swims to the shore and that, gets up onto these ladders, where then he finds himself in Hong Kong at a yachting club. But with him being Asian, he's like, right, I know what to do. So goes to a hotel that, being a secret agent, he fucking has been to before. Because he gets there, starts talking to the fucking desk clerk, who's all like, oh, do you have a credit card? Bond gives him that look to say, do I look like I've got a credit card on me? And he's like, oh yeah, you don't seem to have any suitcase. Well, anyway, the manager sort of thing sees fucking Bond. He's like, oh yeah, James Bond or Mr. Bond sort of thing. We can sort you out and that. Where he tells the clerk to open up the presidential suite, and then fucking says, oh yeah, hope you have a nice sort of time and that. Well, then you see Bond where he's ordered like his, well, Bond tells him, oh yeah, bring up some bolognese, some shirts and all that, and get a shave. He wants a shaver and everything. So yeah, he gets all fucking nicely dressed up again, because the hotel's got a shop in it. So well, whilst he's shaving, he has a ring at the belt where I forget what she calls herself, but she's a masseuse who comes in and that, and she's all like, oh yeah, I've come to give you a massage and that. Lay on the bed and all this. Well, Bond starts to like kiss her in that, where she's like, oh yeah, I'm not that sort of masseuse. Where Bond then grabs in between her legs where she's got a gun, grabs the gun and says, oh yeah, I'm that sort of customer, and points it to her head in that. Where then she's a bit sort of uncomfortable. Well, Bond sort of like fucking like lets go of her sort of thing, grabs an ashtray, throws it at the like dresser window, where it smashes it through, where you see like fucking Chang, Mr. Chang, who in there trying to film Bond to get some fucking dirt on him. Where Bond's all like, get out sort of thing, fucking. I know you're a fucking Chinese, working for Chinese intelligence and that. Well, then he's all like, well, what do you want sort of thing? Well, he's like, well, oh, you can leave and that. And he tells him to put his hand down sort of thing. Says to him like, oh yeah, Zhao killed 3 of your men sort of thing, and if you can get me into North Korea, I'll kill him and that. So all I need you to do is get me into North Korea, because it's North Korea. You can't just go there without being spotted. And that, and he ain't got a passport, so fucking he needs a passport. Well, Chang, Mr. Chang, he's all like, oh, well, what are we doing this for? And then Bond's like, well, Zoe knows fucking, oh, like, sort of fucking is like a mole in the fucking sort of government and that shit. And fucking, he's got like a friend who fucking he needs to find to fucking help him fucking find out who grassed him up, or who give the information out that he got fucking caught, who'll give the information to Zul and that. Well, anyway, that was Owl, should I say. Well, anyway, he gives the gun back and that, where Chang says, oh yeah, he'll ask Beijing and that. Well, then the masseuse leaves and Chow, because he says, oh, unless you want to give me a massage, but no, they don't, because they're just agents. Well, then you see Mr. Chang talking to his Beijing fucking connections, where they've said to him, oh yeah, everything's okay, and or whoever he's talking to, I don't know. But Bond comes down, brings like this little letter thing. I think that's his sort of like fucking key room card. Don't know, but puts it down anyway. Then Mr. Chang says, "Oh yeah, we've got a present for you." Where he gives him a suitcase, where Bond looks inside, where he's got a passport, obviously in his name and that, and a fake one, obviously, and he wanted to go to North Korea, but he looks down because he can see the flight tickets, because he was expecting it to North Korea, and it's to Cuba, where Bond's a bit like, what's with this sort of thing, where then Chow explains that Zhao is in Cuba, Havana. So Bond's all like, alright then, cheers. Because I have to go there. Well then, you see it's the Havana sort of beach sort of thing, where you see Bond in Cuba, Havana sort of fucking walking down the street sort of thing. Where he comes to fucking a factory called Raoul's. Well, it's a shop come factory. It's like a warehouse factory, shop factory thing. Where he goes inside, and you can't really tell because I couldn't really tell when I was watching it. I had to like fucking make sure I fucking paused it a few times. That, but they're making cigars and that. Where Bond goes up to the fucking desk and that, and he says to the I don't know his name because he wasn't a big enough character to have a name, but anyway, he's sort of like the manager of the shop, sort of thing. Where he says, "Oh yeah, I've come to pick up some Descarados or Derek Tardos, or Derek Tardos." It's a brand of a cigar, anyway. Well, the dude's like, "Oh no, we don't do them." Well, Bond's like, "Oh well, ask your boss. I'm from Universal Exports. I think he'll fucking have some for me." Well, anyway, the dude sort of like phones his boss up, where his boss has told him, "Oh yeah, bring him through," because like this is sort of like a code sort of thing to say, "Oh yeah, fucking, I've come for 12 kill fucking Zal." But anyway, goes through and that, says to Bond, "Oh yeah, give me your passport and that." And so gets to fucking his boss, who's like the owner. And he's all like, "Oh yeah, passport and that." Where he starts to talk to Bond and that. As I look at his passport and that, and says like, "Oh yeah, them Descarados, they're fucking like hazard to one's health and that." And like Bond's all like, "Yeah, because the tobacco or the cigar tobacco is real rich and slow burning," which is probably like a code sort of thing, I think, to like say, "Oh yeah, I am James Bond," sort of thing. I'm the one all the Chinese have like sent to kill fucking Zhao. But anyway, he's all like, "All right, yeah, fucking, so fine, all fine and that." Well, oh yeah, the dude gets a gun out and all when Bond that sits down and that. But after he he's checked his passport and that, yeah, he gives his passport back. Says about the cigars, why you what it? Well, yeah, that's when he says, "Yeah, slow burning and that." And that's when I think, "Oh yeah," that's when he's like, "Oh yeah, he's all right." Yeah, so the dude puts his gun away. Well, then he's like, "Oh yeah, I've just made some connections and that." And Zaul is in this little island where um, it's on Los Osons. It says it there. I have to zoom in. Yeah, Island de los Ogjozons. Anyway, he's on that one, Little Island there. So like, he's he's at a strange clinic run by Doctor um, Alrez Aljarez. Yeah. Oh, he says he just does like rich patients and that, and like global leaders or whatever. Oh, Captain's saying no happy ending for you. Oh, yeah, they do. Well, yeah, there's not much happy endings for fucking most of the dudes that fuck around with Bond. But so, um, oh, yeah. So Bond then like walks over in that, picks up a book about bird watching and that, where Ian Fleming got the name for James Bond from a book, but they don't use the James Bond book on this one. It's I think some other dude, but it might be the James Bond one, but anyway, he then gets some binoculars and a gun and that. He's all like, "Oh yeah, I'd like to borrow these and that," which is and can I borrow your car? Which is all like, "Oh yeah." So then you see Bond in the car where he's driving along and that gets to this um, Far Grand Palki Hotel where he goes to the bar and that. Where then he sees this Mr. Pure who's the waiter comes across to him and tells him, "Oh yeah, your papers have I've like got for your appointment to see sort of fucking Dr. Alvarez and that on the island." And so the dude's all like, "Oh yeah," because he's a real rich dude. Don't know how he's made his money. Looks like he's a bit of a gangster, but however he's made his money, he's been a total tosser. Because he tells the dude, "Oh yeah, fucking like get me some beds and that, and send them to like room 42." I think he's called Mr. Well, he's just called Creep. In he's just labelled as Creep, but he has a name called Mr. Pure or something, or or Fiore or Pure, I think it was. But anyway, Bond like sees all this and that, and hears it, and like he's looking over and that. Well, then he gets his binoculars out. As I look at the island that fucking this Dr. Alvarez's hospital's on, then he sees Jinx, Halle Berry, coming out of the water, where she sort of like walks up onto the bar because it's like set a beach bar sort of thing. It's like an hotel that leads onto the beach. Well, gets talking to like Jinx, where he says like, "Oh yeah, magnificent view to her," and that. And she's all like, "Oh yeah, people don't appreciate it as much." But he's talking about her ass and tits, really. But anyway, then she's like, "Oh yeah, what you here for?" And that. He's all about, "Oh yeah, I'm a bed. I'm here for the beds." And then she looks at him and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a bird watcher." Because then he shows her the binoculars and that. And he's all like, "Oh yeah, I'm a ornithologist or something like that." It's the posh word for bird watcher. Well, she's like, "Oh yeah, that's a long word and that." Well, like a drink and that, and like talk about the nightlife and that, and how hungry and all this, and how to eat. Well, anyway, gets on to where fucking Bond and then Jinx are like shagging, where fucking then Jinx brings out a knife, where you're thinking, "Oh no, Bond's in trouble here," but no, she cuts up a fig and that, starts eating it, and tonguing at the same time, sort of thing, where fucking Bond's all up for it. Well, the next day, Bond wakes up and fucking. Oh yeah, that was shag number one anyway. So he wakes up from his first shag in 14 months and all, so he proper pounded her. Well, the next day, Jinx has gone and that, where Bond, he gets up, looks out and that, sees Jinx sort of like at the ship that takes people to the island and that. Well, then he gets his binocs out just to see fucking Jinx's fucking crutch. Well, yeah, sees Jinx as like fucking giving the papers and that. Well, then he gets a wheelchair from like the bottom there, sort of thing. It's them hotel wheelchairs they have. Well, knocks on 42, who's the creep dude, as he's labelled in. Well, the dude's like, oh, he's South African. He's like, "What you fucking doing?" He don't say fucking, but he's basically like, "What the fuck you doing? I don't need no wheelchair." And then Bond's like, "Oh, you do now," and smacks him in the face and that. Where he proper knocks him out. Like the amount of time he's out, he's probably cracked his head. He could be in a coma. But Bond don't give a fuck. Well, anyway, bit of a fitty bed on the sort of bed. That's probably a local prostitute. That Bond's like, "Oh yeah, alright," sort of thing. She's like, "Hello." Well, anyway, Bond then gets the dude's certificate for fucking the appointment that fucking is going for. Don't know exactly what work the dude was gonna get, but whatever work it was, he like had enough money to get in it. But Bond sticks the dude in the chair, goes to the boat place where there's like guards that like probably fucking don't let anyone who ain't got an appointment to go on the island go on. So Bond gives him the appointment card, sort of thing. And yeah, it's Alan Los Oganos that goes on to, and that where he bulls him to fucking the clinic, where goes inside, sees a few nurses and that, gets inside the clinic, sees where fucking there's guards and that, guarding a room, where this is a funny bit, where then he sort of like hides behind the fucking door, then comes out, bulls whilst they're not looking, bulls the dude right into the wall. He falls out and that, where the nurse and the guards rush over to see if he's alright and that. Where then Bond sort of like goes through the sort of back window of fucking this patient's bed and that, where he nabs a grape, says alright sort of thing, where they're like goes past where the guards was guarding sort of thing. It was just the room next to it. Well, goes round the corner and it's a dead end, where he notices though that there's a camera that's pointed at this wall, where he unplugs the camera, goes to the wall, skegs around, notices this little star bit in the middle that he presses, opens a like secret door, he goes inside, gets his gun out and that, looks all pretty fucking psychedelic disco-y type, but it's more medical sort of decorations. For some reason, I don't know exactly why they do that, but they have rich class patients and that. Maybe it's something that lights up for them to amuse them. I don't know. But anyway, then you see Dr. Algrez in his office with Jinx and that, who gives him a check for £2 million dollars to do this DNA replacement treatment, because apparently it can replace people's DNAs, and the DNA is from kids and hobos and other people that can get and that. It's like a different mixture, I think, and he does some kind of like cocktail mix of DNA and then injects you with it, or does like a blood transplant with it or whatever, and he changes your DNA. Well, he goes back saying like he believes he's an artist and that what he does. Pretty chuffed about the 2 million and that. Well, then Jinx like says, "Oh yeah, artists are more appreciated when they're dead," and then shoots him and that dead. Well, then you see Bond where he's sort of like coming to like a hallway. Well, then you see Jinx setting fire to the files and that because she's made like an appointment for herself to get in there, and so now she's destroying the evidence that she was ever in there because she's wanting information on Zowell. Well, Bond, he's fucking looking around and that, where some nurses and surgeon come by yards and that. Then he sees a room where he walks in and he sees Zowell, even though now Zowell ain't looking as he was. Oh, a little bit, but he only notices him because he's got diamonds in his face. Well, anyway, then you see fucking Jinx, who's fucking looking on the computer, and she's got Zowell sort of profile up where she sees the face transformation process of what they want him to look like, where you see he's completed phase 1 and he's going to be doing phase 2 soon. Well, then she sees he's in room 11. Well, Bond's already in room 11 with him. He goes over, taps the fucking glass thingy that's playing him sort of tapes to learn him different languages and that. And confident tapes, probably. You're the best. Don't let no one get you down and all that shit. Well, Bond's like, wake up sort of thing. Fucking. And then he grabs the fucking morphine drip, squeezes it, so he pumps loads of morphine in him and that. Where, like, oh, because like, probably felt a bit of a fucking rush. He should be having a bit of a more smiler face, but it might not even be morphine. It might be that water shit, you know, just to keep him hydrated. But anyway, he's not too chuffed about it. And Bond's all like, who's bankrolling you, sort of thing? Who's giving you the money to get this facelift and that? It's probably the same person who set me up in North Korea and that. And so Bond's thinking, who's ever paying for you to get this surgery done is the same person who told you that I was fucking James Bond. Because they must have like loads of money to fucking get that sort of information. Well, anyway. Oh, what the fuck's happening there? Well, yeah, he boots him. That way they have a bit of a fight. Yeah. Oh, fuck off. Yeah. Like, punctures him in that. Oh. Yeah. Because, like, yeah, boots him. Then, like, Bond grabs it, like, pan, smacks him in the face and that. Tussle on the fucking bed, go on side where Zul grabs some cords and that, wraps it round Bond's throat, where Bond like gets up, elbow punctures him, and that. Then grabs him, puts his head through the fucking X-ray sort of fucking light thing. Then grabs his sort of chain, like by accident, as he's trying to punch him. Then punctures him, sort of thing. Punctures him onto the bed where, as he's running over, he grabs the gun where Bond grabs some fluid, like throws it at him. Well, throws it at the dialysis machine. That, yeah, when he got the gun and that, he tries to shoot Bond, but because Bond threw the thing at the dialysis machine, it fucking magnetised the machine, goes crazy, and fucking takes the gun, where then starts magnetising other fucking implements where Zool sort of like protects his face. Then he grabs the fucking light and smashes it onto the floor where it starts a bit of a fire going.